In the last session, we talked about ADO.NET, right? So we use ADO.NET to connect with the database and perform certain operations over the data sources. So using ADO.NET, data providers or some classes, we can connect to different data sources, right? So we have these classes under system.data namespace, right? So we have two types of connections like connected oriented architecture and disconnected architecture. So in connection oriented architecture, the always connection should be established prior to execute the commands. Once the client reads the data, then connection will be closed. So if you want to perform other operation, again we have to open the connection and execute the required commands, then close the connection. This is one of the method in connection oriented architecture. And we have also another method like, so first client will establish the connection and required queries will be supplied so that server will process the data and that result will be dumped into a memory location in the server called result set. From result set, there will be a link established with the client. Client will start reading from the result set, and once he read the data, so connection will be closed. Okay, this is about connection oriented architecture. So like we are maintaining the connection until we read the data, and we are storing dumping the data in the server place. So if there are a number of connections increases, like if a number of connections are made to the database server, there will be a performance issue. So to avoid this, we go for a disconnected architecture. So in disconnected architecture, uh, so in disconnected architecture, we don't need to establish the connection. Whenever we request for some data, it will automatically establishes the connection. Okay. Once a data is processed, it will dump the data into client machine or the program execution area. We call it as a process area. So like suppose I'm calling in from C# application. So it will dump that to C# application execution area like IIS. Okay. From database server to IIS execution environment. So there will be no burden on the database server. Now from process area, a client or application or UI, anything will read the data. So we can perform validations or we can perform additions, deletions, etc. We can perform modifications. If you want to update back data to the data source, so we can do that. While updating, it will automatically establishes the connection and closes the connection. So this is about disconnected architecture. So disconnected architecture, if you want immediate updation of data, this architecture will not suit. So depending upon the requirement, we have to use either a connected architecture or disconnected architecture. Okay. So when it comes to different classes we have in the system.data namespace, like to connect with the SQL client, we have system.data.sql client namespace. To connect with the Oracle, we have Oracle client. To connect with all other databases, we have OLEDB or ODBC. OLEDB and ODBC are unmanaged code execution, whereas SQL and Oracle client are managed code execution, and those two are faster because those are related to C#.NET framework and C#.NET framework, or we can say like the code will be executed by the CLR. Okay, so we have like other classes like connection, command, data reader, data adapter, and data set. So to establish the connection, we use connection class or connection object. We use command object to specify the kind of like commands we are going to execute or queries we are going to execute. Data reader is used to read the data in connection oriented manner. Data adapter and data set are used for the disconnected architecture. Okay, disconnected connection type. So we can also use data reader along with data adapter. That comes as again a disconnected way. Okay, so this is the way connected and disconnected data will be stored. Like if you take a data set, it is a new object or new class. So which will hold the data tables collection. Each table will have columns collection, rows collection, and constraints collection. Okay. So data adapter will be used to interact with the data source. Okay. Data set will not directly interact with the data source, rather it will use data adapter. Right. Next, we talked about connection class. Then we talked about command class. So the next thing, like we saw an example with connection and command classes. So with command class, we have three methods, three execution methods to execute the queries. Okay. One is execute non-query. Second one is execute reader. Next one is execute scalar. So when do we use which method? We will see now. So like execute non-query. So it will work with all the action queries like select, delete, like that. Okay. So all the action queries we use execute non-query. Execute reader will work with non-action queries. Okay. Execute reader will just to read the data in connection oriented kind of way. We use execute reader. It will not work with action queries. Okay. Execute scalar. It will work with non-action queries that contains aggregation functions. Aggregation functions and have an idea on the aggregation functions, like
Yes, sir,
which will return single value, like average, sum, like this.
min, max.
Yeah, min, max kind of thing. So those are
Count.
aggregate functions. So to execute such kind of queries, non-action queries, we use execute scalar. Okay. When we use execute non-query, it returns the count of rows affected by the query. So whenever we run a query using execute non-query method, so it will return the number of rows affected, which means, so if you update, if you write an update query, and if it updates 10 records in the database, then it will return 10 record, count 10. So its return type is integer. Okay, execute non-query will return the count of rows affected by the query. Okay, so this is an important interview question. Just remember it and practice query with each one. Okay. Next, execute reader returns the result or rows selected by the query. Suppose if I write select star from some student table, so it will return the object. So that complete result set, result, query result. So the return type is data reader actually. Okay. Next, execute scalar. As it works with aggregate functions, though it returns the first row, first column value of the query result. So there, when we perform average, so there will be only one value. So as it will be in the form of a table, so the result will be in the first row, first column. Okay. So it returns the first row and first column value of the query result, and the return type is object. When we use execute non-query, the return value is optional. So either we can capture it or we may not capture. So it can be optional. So return value is optional and can be assigned to a variable of int type. If you want to capture that value, we can use integer type of variable. Okay. Execute reader. Return value is compulsory and should be assigned to another object, that is data reader object. Because in order to display the results returned by the query, so we should capture that and we can assign it to any control, data bound control. Okay. Next, execute scalar. So return value is compulsory and should be assigned to any variable of required type. If I'm returning integer values average or sum or min or max, I have to assign it to integer. If I am returning float related or decimal related or double related, then that particular type of variable should be declared and should be assigned with that execute scalar method. So these are the three execution methods that are available with command object, like execute non-query. It is used to perform all action queries like select, update, delete kind of things. Execute reader, it will only work with non-action queries like only select, we can say, returns the query result or rows selected by the query. execute Scala, it will work with aggregate functions like min, max, average, sum, such kind of functions. Okay. Return types for non-execute non-query, it is integer. Execute reader, it is data reader. Execute scalar, it is object. Okay. So this is about execution methods. So we will see examples with each. So this is our database. Let me connect to our database. Any doubts till now? Now in the databases section, so I can see my database name. Okay. So hope everyone installed SQL Server Management Studio and able to create tables and all. So what is the database name? Oh, sorry, what is the table name we created? Let's see that table name. I forgot the table name. Student. Let me open my website solution. So in the last session, when clicking on button, we established a connection with the database and we executed select star from student query. Right, we saw that like opening the command, opening the connection and then executing the non-query. Now I want to see how a non-query will return the number of rows affected. Okay, so to do that, I'll just run whether if I run select query, will it return or not? Then I'll go for a delete query, action queries, right? So we'll see that difference, then we'll check that. Okay, just a second. So I'm just running it. Now before I start it, let me again explain this. I'll write somewhere else. I'll write here. So what we are doing, like, so to establish the connection with any database, we need to include a related namespace. Like as I'm going to work with SQL Server, so we have to include the namespace like using system.data.sql client. Okay. Now to define the connection related properties, we use SQL connection class. So SQL connection. So we define an object to it. So just declaring an object, and we'll define that object like so connection string. So SQL connection class is used to establish the connection with the database. To establish that, we have to provide the connection string. So we will provide the connection string here. So once we have a valid connection string, we can open connection and we can close connection. Okay, we can close connection. So to see whether connection is opened or not, so we can use state property. Okay, SQL connection, it returns state of the connection. So if state equal to connection state dot open or closed or executing or fetching, these are the different values of the state. Okay, so if the connection is open, it will return 1. So we can display some message here. the connection is open like that. So if you want to close this, so we can use close method. Okay, this is about SQL connection. Now, next class is SQL command. Okay, so SQL command CMD equal to new SQL command. So just creating an object to the SQL command class. Now we will check the different properties with the command class, like command text or parameters, or we can provide the connection with command class. We can use different methods like execute non-query, execute reader. We can also provide command text, command timeout, command type. Right? These are the different methods. Execute scalar, execute XML reader. Right? We can reset command timeout. Like this, there are different methods. Okay. So now we will use command text property. So as I'm going to fetch the data, so I'm writing select star from student. Okay. Now we have another property like command type. So if I am giving simple inline query, so I'll mention like text. If I write stored procedure, I can give command type as stored procedure. Okay. Next, cmd.sql connection object. So we have to specify which connection we have to use to execute this query. So command will be executed over the specified connection, database connection. So for that, we have to give SQL connection. Okay. So connection property on command object. Simply, we can also do like this. So as I have to specify connection here, okay. So what I'll do is, so I can directly define it here, like new connection. Then so like this also, we can just remove this everything and we can okay, like this we can also specify and we can remove all this code. Okay, we can open the connection here and we can execute the command. Okay, that we will see while writing the disconnected architecture code. Okay, now we will execute the code with execute non-query. Okay, so as it's simply select, I can use non-query or reader. Okay, anything is fine. So execute a transact SQL statement against the connection and returns the number of rows affected. Okay. So this is about last session. So I'm just running the example and we will see select query as well as delete query. So whether it will delete the record or not, we'll check that. Okay. So I have placed a debugger here. So to check to see how it is working. Okay. So when we click that button, so connected to DB, I'm clicking on the button. So debugger is hitting the debugger point. So first, so to debug line by line, we use F11. So to execute a particular method, we use F10. So you can press F10. So like this. So it will execute each line. Now I'm opening the connection to the database. Okay, connection is just established. Now I am clicking, now I'm executing execute non-query method. So my command is select star from student. So it is only just selecting, it is not affecting the database. So that's why I get -1. So for select, I'll get -1. So I'm just checking after executing the query, I'm just checking the state of the connection. So it is still open. So until we read the data, the connection will be open, right? Such kind of. So I'm just setting text to label like that. So how many rows affected? -1 rows affected. Okay. Now, so SQL command text, I'm changing the command. Okay. Now command text is delete from student where ID equal to 5. So if I have any record with 5, so that will get deleted. So I don't have any record with 5 ID. So let's see what it will return. Okay. Now if you see the J, so there are no records with ID 5. So it returned J equal to 0, like execute non-query returned 0 because no records affected in the database. So that's why it returned 0. Let me re-execute this command again. So to re-execute this line, what I'll do is I'll right click here, set next statement. So I'm setting this as next statement for execution. So now the command is at this line. So what I'll do is, so I'll just execute this line first. So now in SQL command, the command text is delete star from student where ID equal to 5. I'll just change it to 6. So I want to see how it will return the value. Okay. Now see here, delete from student where ID equal to 6. Now the new command text is this one. So I want to execute this now. So I'll press F10 now. Okay. Now if you see here, it returned 1. So by executing this query, it affected 1 row on the database. So that's why it returned 1. So I'm just setting that here. So to the label. So previously it was -1 rows affected. Now it will get updated here. So with 1 rows affected. Okay. So that is what we are displaying here. Now we will see, go back to the database and we'll check how many records are there. So previously we have 5 records. Now we deleted 6th one, 6th with ID with 6. So let's execute the query and check whether it is deleted or not. Now see, so there are only 4 records. So the ID with 6 got deleted. Okay. Now here, what we are doing, we are hard coding the value which we want to delete, right? So this in real time, we cannot do this, right? So we cannot update the code for each record. So what we will do is like, we will place some text box here. Okay. We'll place some text box here. On clicking that, on entering some value here or ID or name, anything, and clicking on delete button, we will delete that record. Okay. We'll make that change and we'll see how can we write such code. Okay. So now what I'm doing, I'll take a label first, enter student ID to delete like that. So I'll give a text to it. Enter student ID to delete. Okay. So I took a label. I place a text box beside it. So this is txt student ID. Okay. I'll give ID to unique ID to this control. So txt student ID. Okay. Now I have a label and a text box where I'll enter the data. Now I'll change this I'll change this button ID, or else I'll do one thing. So I'll remove it. I'll remove this button. I'll place another button. So delete student. Okay. I'll rename it as delete student. Delete student. Right. Now on clicking this, so I want to delete the data. Right. So for that, I'll take all this data. I'll get all these queries. And I'll place that here. So I'll remove the previous method. Okay. Okay. Connection command. Then we don't need this part. No. No. So here we have to pass the value that I entered in the text box. So for that, what we will do, we'll simply take that ID like this. Okay. So here as I'm getting it from the text box, so I'll append that text here. Like, what is my text box name? TXT student ID. So, so the text property will hold the value that I entered. So I'm just passing that to query here. Delete from student where ID equal to, and passing that entered ID here. Okay. This is one way. Okay. This is one way. We can append that string to query. We can also use parameters. SQL command dot. So SQL command dot parameters dot. If you have multiple parameters, we use add or add range or add with value methods, and we can add the parameters. Okay. So if we use add, we have to define a SQL parameter and we have to pass that to add. So if we use add with value, so we can directly give parameter name and value. Okay, add range, we can add multiple SQL parameters. Okay, so the best option is add with value. So I can give parameter name, then its value. So for that, so what is my ID here? What is my name of the column here? ID. So I can specify that here. So I can specify the parameter name. So that we will mention like at ID. Okay. Next, what is the value? So txt student ID dot text is the value. Okay. We can pass either like this or like this. Anything is fine. So let's comment this and check the first one. So I'll enter some ID, then I'll execute this non-query, then we'll print how many rows affected. Okay. See here, enter student ID to delete and delete student button I have. Now I'll go to DB and verify once. So I'll take 3. So then whatever the ID with 3 I want to delete, or we'll keep it for testing with address. So let's delete 2. Okay. I'll next in a next example I'll enter Pune so that we will delete all the records with Pune. Okay. For that I'll reserve 3. Now I'll take 2 ID 2. So I'll enter ID 2 and I'll check delete. I'll click delete student button, then we'll see what will happen. So for to check that, I'll just keep a debugger here. Okay, just keeping the debugger. Let's see the flow. So I click done button. See here in txt student ID, I have text called 2. Okay, so I'm just setting that to command text and now executing the non-query. So the rows affected are 1 because there is only ID, there is only one record with ID 2. Okay. So one row affected. Now what will I do is I'll take one more label and one more text box to delete based on the address. Okay. To delete the student records based on the address. Enter address. Okay. Or city. We can say enter city to delete records. Okay. Now I'll take a text box to hold the city value. Right. So I'll give a unique name to it. So I'll naming I am giving ID as txt city. Okay. Now, so in delete student operation, so I'll write this. Okay. So as of now, what we have, like we have delete star from student where ID equal to this one, right? So first we will do like we will only enter city and delete that city related records. After that, either I can enter student ID or city Based on these two, I'll delete the student. For now, I'm only writing for city. Okay. So city, we are storing under address column, right? So we have simply have address ADDRESS. Okay. ADDRESS. So that I am getting in txt city. Okay. So for this, we will, as we have used this command text appending parameter value, we checked it. So we will use now with parameters. So address. So we can also pass parameters like this also. SQL command parameters add with value get address equal to txt city. Now I'll run and check. If you have any doubts, let me know. And see here, execute non-query return type is integer. So that's why we are taking it into integer, into J. So to check that, if you don't take this, we don't know how many records affected like that. Okay. So for that, we have declared a variable and holding that value. Now I am entering Pune. Okay. PUN. So let me first, okay. First we'll check with small letters, then we'll go for capital letters. Okay. I entered Pune and clicking on delete button. Okay. So connection, I'm opening the connection. Now command parameter is set. So if you see it in the text box, so we have Pune. Now executed non-query. So it returned -1. So there are no records affected because the value we have in address as capital letters, but we passed small letter. So to avoid such situations, we may have like the data can be in the small letter or the data can be in the capital letters, right? Actually, it should return 0, right? Okay. Okay, sorry. I commented command actually. So to pass this value, sorry, my bad. So to pass this value, so we have to pass that parameter name, which parameter value we want to send here. So at address is my parameter. So I'm just passing that. So we'll execute it again and I'll show you. Actually, it returned -1. It should return 0 because there are no records affected with delete query. So if it is select, we will get -1. Now I'm just entering Pune. Okay, clicking delete button. Let's see what will happen now. So the command text is delete from student where address equal to at address. So the at address is a parameter to which I am passing Pune. Now I'll execute non-query. So let's check. Number of rows affected 2. Okay. Number of rows because I have 2 records with Pune. Okay. Like in some cases, like in some databases, the data may not get deleted because it is in the capital letters. So in such cases, we will write like, we will convert this to lowercase. Okay. Or we can convert it to uppercase like that. So both the values, like we have to convert the value in the address, like in the table and the value we entered. Okay. So here it is not case sensitive, right? Now, so we will see that on the UI. So there are 2 records deleted. Let's check on the table. So there is only 1 record now. Okay, this is about deletion and selection of records using command object, connection command object. So now we will add the records. We will add the records to the table. So to do that, we need controls, right? So what are all the controls we need? So ID will be auto generated, name, age, address. Okay, name, age, address. So let me delete this now. I'll rename it to name. Okay, name. So I'll take a text box here. So better for better design, use table with 2 columns. In 1 column you can use label. In 1 column you can use the controls. Okay. Now I am naming it as txt name. Okay. Next thing, age. So I'll rename it to age. I'm sorry, age, right? So age. Okay. I'll rename this control text box also to age. I'm giving ID as txt age. Txt age. And here so we'll do that change later. Now we have age, name, age. So we need one more field for address, right? So what I'll do, I'll take a label. I'll take a label and I'll take a text box. So the label will be address or city. Anything we can take. Like let me take address. So I'm giving a unique ID to text box. Like txt address. Right? I have name, age, address. Now I need a button. I need a button to add the student. Okay, I'm just adding a button here. Okay, I'll name it as add student. Okay. Now on clicking this button, so I want to add the student. So to identify this button, I'm just giving as btn ID as ID. btn ID is the ID of the button. Okay, btn add. So I'm just double clicking on it to generate a click event. Now btn add underscore click is generated. So when I click on this button, so I want to add the student details. So for that, so first what I have to do, I have to create a connection, SQL connection equal to new SQL connection. Then I can give connection string, connection string equal to the value I have here. So I can modify it like this. So the connection constructor is taking 2 overloads here. See, one is connection string and credentials like this. Empty constructor, 1 parameter constructor, 2 parameters constructor. So I'll just simplify this, writing 2 lines into 1 line like what I'm doing. I'm just passing the connection string here directly. Okay. Now I don't need this line. So what I did, SQL connection. So instead of writing 2 lines, I wrote it in 1 line now. Okay. So SQL connection equal to new SQL connection, and I passed the connection string. Now I'll take SQL command. SQL command equal to new SQL command. So we can pass 5. Now, like we have 5 overloaded methods. We'll see one by one. First one is not accepting any parameters. So next is accepting command text. Next is accepting command text as well as the connection. Okay. Another one is accepting like command text connection transaction. Next one, command text, connection, transaction, encryption settings. So there are 5 overloaded methods of command class. Okay, for command constructor or command class constructors, there are 5 overloaded methods. First one is default, no parameters, then plus 4 overloads. So what we can do, we can pass the command text, or we can pass the command text as well as the connection like that. So to utilize that, to simplify, we can pass directly command text and connection string here. As we are new to this, let's write in the whatever the way we know. So command dot command text equal to. So now we want to insert the details of the student, right? So we have 3 text fields, and we want to insert this into table, student table. So to insert that, what is the query in general? So like this, I think I have that. Let me check. Yeah, this one. So insert into student. So what are the columns we are inserting? We have to specify that, like name, age, address, and its values, like name 122 Pune, like this. So this is the query. So we have to write that query now in the C#, okay, as a command text. So first insert into table name student, okay, table name. Then we have to specify the, what we have to do, we have to specify the column names and their values, okay. So for that, we can also do like this, like insert it. Suppose we have a student table and we have like 10 columns, okay, 10 columns, right? Whenever we insert, we must insert all not null values, okay. So I'll show you an example. So I'll simply directly write values and we'll see it. So I'm just taking name as 100 and not passing the other values. So just checking this. So column name or number of supplied values does not match table definition. So insert into student. I'm trying to insert values, name 100. So it is not taking. Okay. So let me try with 3 values. So it got inserted. So I did not mention what are the columns I'm inserting. Okay. I did not mention the columns, rather directly specifying the values, mentioning the values. So I have 3 columns. This ID is primary key and identity. It will automatically automatically increment the last value by 1. Okay, it starts with 1 and increments by 1 each time whenever we insert a record. So no need to specify this. Now here, so I can specify name, age, address values directly, and I can insert. So this is one way. This is one way, and this is another way. We can try like this also. Insert into student. Okay. So I want to insert name property, a name column. Just I'm specifying that name. Okay. And values I can specify, and I can insert value. Okay. Like name 1000, right? So let me run and check whether it will work or not. Okay. See, now one row got affected. So if you see the records here, previously we have 1 record. Now I inserted 100 and 1000. Okay. This is one way. We can insert in 3 ways. Like we can specify what are the columns we are going to insert, or we can directly give all the values under values with values section, or we can specify all the column names and their respective values. Now, I'll tell you one more example. So I want to insert only age or address, not the name. Let's see what will happen. So I'll just insert age. Okay, age. So I'll specify its value here. So 28 is the age. So I'm just inserting age. See here, cannot insert the value null into column name. Column does not allow nulls, insert fields, because here we mentioned it as a not null. So the name column is not null. So we cannot insert age value without name. Whatever, if we have other columns with not null, so we have to must specify those column values, then we can insert age. Let's check that. So here I'm writing name, comma. So I can specify name here, then comma. So name, Pawan. Okay. Now I'll check it. So row got affected. I did not add an address because it can be null. The value can be null. So when I don't specify its value, it will take it as a null. Okay, let me check how many records in my table. See name, name 4, name 100, name 1000, Pawan. So if I don't specify age, so it is null. Address is also null. Here I did not specify age, so it is null. Okay. So this is a way of inserting data into a table. I hope everyone is aware about it. During your BTech course, you might have wrote these queries, right? Now, so now I want to insert details into student, right? So I'll directly specify values. So how many values I have to give here? 3 values I have to mention. Okay, if I don't specify column names here, so I have to give all the values. So I have to pass 3 values here. So to do that, so I have to pass them inside these brackets. So I have them in variables, right? So I have to append them to the query. So to do that, I'll add plus. Now, like I have to add them inside brackets. So I have opened bracket. Now I'm pressing plus, appending it with plus. So I have first value txt name dot text. Okay, I have appended first value. Then what I have to do? So if you see here, I have to append with a colon, right? So either I have to colon double quotes or single quote. I have to mention that. Let's copy this for better understanding to here. Where I am writing here. Okay. So just commenting it. See here. So insert into student values. Okay. Till here I wrote, right? Now I'm writing this value. So the value is in txt name.text. Next, what I have to do? I have to close this double quotes or single quote, then comma, and then single quote I have to give. So for that, so to close the value and to append those values, so I have again I have to give double quotes, right? Now, so I have to specify the single quote. As it is already string, no need to mention it as a string, I guess. So what can I do now? So I have to give comma. Okay, I have to give comma, right? Next, I have to append the 22 value. So the 22 value will be in txt age dot text. Now again, I have to append a comma. Okay. Now the plus. Next, what is the value I have to append? Txt address dot text. Now after this, I have to close the bracket. So to close that, I have to give like this. So I have prepared the query now. So this is a way of preparing the query with multiple values, right? Insert into student values. So txt name, txt age, txt address. As it is already in string format, I am not giving the colons, double quote or single quote. Let's check whether it will work or not. Then we'll see the other part. So now I have to display this connect. I have to display whether record is effective or not. So I'll just write it. Now I have command connection, command text, and non-query method. Okay, let me run it and check. You guys have time, right? 10 more minutes or like that. Can I continue or do I need to stop? I'll comment this line. It is not required. The name scale command does not exist. Sorry, it's command. Output under output. The using directive appeared previously in this. Where is that? Okay. Yeah, that no need. Explicitly I commented scale command I updated. The name scale connection does not exist in the current context. Oh, sorry. This is connection, and even I have to mention this with. No, I'll write it. I'll execute it. See here, I have a name, age, address text boxes, and when I click add, it should add the record in the table. Okay, for that I'll keep a debugger and I'll check that how it is executing line by line. So I'm giving Kiran as the name, age has 27, address as Hyderabad. Okay. Now I am clicking on add student button. So it got executed. It is getting executed now, getting called. So we can see the command text. So insert into student values Kiran 27 Hyderabad. So whatever I entered, I'm able to get into query like insert into student values Kiran 27 Hyderabad. So we don't have single code or double code here. We will see whether it will execute or not. Okay. So I'm executing now. See here, execute non-query requires an open. Okay, connection is missing. So let me open the connection. Connection.open. So before executing the connection itself, we have to open the connection. I'll ensure whether how many records are available in the student table. So there are only 4 records: name 4, name 100, name 1000, and Pawan. Okay. So I'll again enter same values. Even was it was not added. 27 Hyderabad. Now I'm clicking on add student button. Okay. So connection is open. Now I'm executing the query. Check invalid column name Kiran, invalid column name Hyderabad. Okay, why? So if you observe the command text, these are, it is treating as a column. and it is expecting its values. So, but when it comes to 27, it does not considered as a column because see here. So if you see here, name is variable character, which means like string. So name is of type string, age is of type integer. So when we pass here 27, so it took as a 27 value, integer value, because I did not specify it in the single quotes. So it was able to treat it as a correct value. But when it comes to Hyderabad and Kiran, it should be in single quotes. Okay. So to avoid that, so we have to specify the colon here. So before appending the text, one colon, after appending the text, one colon. Next, txt age is integer, so no need to append the text. Address is the string value, so I have to append a colon here. Here I have to end it. Okay. This is a way of passing the value. Okay. Let's check that now. So again, executing the query here to check how many records are there. So there are only still 4 records because the query is not yet executed. Kiran, 27, Hyderabad. Now adding the student. Okay. So now let's see the command text. Insert into student values Kiran, comma 27, comma Hyderabad. Right. Now let's check whether it will execute or not. So now it got executed. J is 1 row is affected. So we'll see that whether it is inserted or not. Now you can see 11, Kiran, 27, Hyderabad. Okay. So this is a way of inserting the data into table. Okay. So here we observed one thing. Like when we did not specify this single quotes, so it returned error here. When executing this method, it returned here. So whenever we write code, just a second. Yeah. So whenever the application or code executes, whenever it encounters an execute method like execute non-query. So first the query, like the query with the connection object, as the connection is already open, it will perform 2 things here. So whenever it execute, the execution encounters execute method like execute non-query or execute scalar, execute reader. So it performs 2 things. First, it compiles the query. So whatever the query we wrote, it compiles that. Then it runs that query. Okay. During the compilation, the database engine will check for the syntax errors. So compilation means syntactical, checking the syntactical errors. If there are any syntactical errors, that errors will be thrown as an error. So we saw like, so if we miss connection is not opened. So it's thrown a must active connection must be available. Then next, we did not specify single quotes, it thrown an error. Right there, it checked syntactical errors like we have to it sent as a, like Kiran as a invalid column, Hyderabad as an invalid column, right? That is a syntactical error. So it checked and it thrown the error. After that, we corrected it, and when the execution executed this method like execute non-query, we got the result. So here till this line, nothing executed in the database except connection opened, just a connection opened, but not executed till this line until we execute this method. So when the execution encounters execute method, execute non-query method, it performs 2 actions. One is compilation of the query, next running the query. So if there are any syntactical errors in the command we write, so it will throw the error by the execute non-query method. If there are no syntactical errors, the query will run and the result will be sent. Okay. So this is about command object and executing with multiple values. So here, like if you observe here, so we started with string and then we are appending, then single quote and comma, and then comma and single quote like this. So writing like this will be difficult. If we, as we have only 3 properties now, so we were able to somehow manage it. Suppose if we miss comma or if we miss colon, then it will throw an error. So writing like this with 10 plus properties or 5 plus properties, it will become tough. Like after every value, I have to append a single quote, comma. If it is integer, I don't need to append. So like this, we may miss something here. To avoid that, we can go for properties. Okay. So we talked about properties, right? So like command properties. Okay. So you can check that. Just a second. And back. So like we may miss something like a single quote or comma or anything, we may miss closing bracket also. To avoid this, we can go for properties, command properties. So to do that, what we will do like, so here I'll just, so this is our basic query, insert into student values. So I have to pass values here. So to pass values with parameters, so I'll take like this P1, so first parameter, next P2, second parameter, next P3, third parameter. So I have 3 parameters. So I can mention that like at P1, at P2, at P3. It is mandatory here. At P1, at P2, at P3. Now I have to pass them, right? Command dot parameters dot add with value. So what is my parameter name? First one is at P1. Okay, at P1. So what is its value? So the first value is txt name. Okay, dot text. Okay. Next parameter is command dot parameters dot add value. So next at P2. Next is age. Next command dot parameters dot add with value at P3, comma txt address dot text. Okay. Now we were able to add the parameters to the command object. Now I'll run and check. Will it work or will it throw any error like that? So I'll enter some name, Harry, age 26, city Vizag. Okay. Now clicking on add button. Let's see. Debugger is hitting here. So we can check here like command object. We can check the query. Command text is insert into student values at P1, at P2, at P3. So we can check those values in properties. Command parameters, sorry. So here we have 3 parameters. So at P1, okay, at P2, at P3. Parameters with values we can see here, I guess. See here, its value is Harry. Okay, next one is its value is 26. Okay, so you can see that here. Third one is, so we were able to add with parameters. Value is Vizag. Okay, P1, P2, P3. Let me execute it. Now check. So it got inserted. One row affected. Let me go to DB and check. So I can see 12 Harry, 26 Isaac. Okay. This is a way of passing values while like appending the text to the query or using parameters, whichever the way you feel comfortable, you can use. If you are good at writing, appending text to the query, string appending, you can follow that. Or if you bad at writing that, like you may miss semicolon or single quotes with different, when you have different types of data types like double, integer, string, date, time. So during that time, you have to be cautious to append single quotes like that. Okay. So this is a way of two ways of writing, like appending text or parameters, using parameters. So whichever the way you feel comfortable, you can use that. Right? Any doubts here? So we saw example for select, we saw example for insert, we saw example for delete. So in the same manner, we can use update. Okay. Any doubts here? If we have time, we can check the other example as well. If you all are comfortable, I'll continue. Otherwise, I'll stop. So any doubts till now? Any doubts till now?
No, sir.
No? I have one doubt. Let me check this. Even though I give single quote, it executed. Without single quote, it is executed page. Okay. So without giving single quote to the name, you can check that as like name for and Pune. So here itself, we can see that. Invalid column name for invalid column name Pune. Like that, we get it for Hyderabad and Kiran, right? So that way. So that's why we have to specify colon for the string types. Okay. For integer type, we can specify or we can ignore. Yeah, any doubts? If no doubts, I'll stop recording.